So we finally have a day that we can come out a little bit and we can play. Otto, by the way, she's not in heat. Sorry, the others are with Chris out in the back and they heard the barking in the front. But anyhow, well, let's me regroup and start this all over again because it has been one of those mornings. We've had some changes to our program here. And, you know, when it comes to a breeding program, nothing is ever black and white, right? So we do know that Pepper was bred and she is actually 6 weeks along. She's showing signs of pregnancy. But this girl here has been bred. And she was bred with this beautiful merle and tan fluffy. She's a fluffy carrier. So if we can confirm a breeding, we have potentials of lilac and tans, lilac and tan merles, black merle and tan. We can have lilacs with or without fluffy. 50% chance of fluffies, 50% of non-fluffies. So I'm really excited to be able to confirm. She is actually on day 20 of a post-breeding. We are seeing some nipple changes, but it's still too early because those nipple changes can be from just her having gone through her heat. So with that said, she does have a different scent to her because Otto has been very fascinated with her. So I'm not sure what it is at this point. It could just be he's, even though it's made 2.5 weeks since she's been stopped bleeding, he could potentially still be smelling the after effects of her being in active heat. So what we're going to be watching out for her is we're going to watch out for her swelling in the back of her vulva to see if it goes back into the normal shape. And we're going to be looking for increased nipple size. We're going to be, Otto, no. We're going to be looking for appetite changes. It is hard with Frenchies because they're very food motivated. So a lot of times we're not going to see a very true absence of, or not absence, but lack of appetite because they love food. Frenchies just love food. They're very food motivated. Well, the ones that I've had anyway. So yeah. So at this time, I know in one of my previous videos, I did write down that we were going to be having 3 litters. The 2 older girls and Pepper. Fortunately and unfortunately, it depends on what your perspective is that we have chosen not to breed the older girl. She is being retired and she is no longer in a breeding program. She has only had 1 litter in her lifetime, so that is fantastic. Violet is younger and she has only had 1 litter in her lifetime as well. So with that said, she has been bred and we have Pepper. And at this time, yay, we're going to have 2, potentially 2 litters. We have confirmed 1. It's still got to be a few weeks before we can confirm Miss Violet. So we'll see how it goes. We bred her, she went down to Central Maine for the breeding, and the PG tests were done in Central Maine. So she was bred on her PG level, her progesterone level was an 18. So the day her progesterone level turned 18 is when she was bred. So I'm not going to chase them inside and outside of the house. They will come in and out on their own. Violet will tell him to leave her alone, so I'm not really worried about it too much. But if I see that he's getting carried away, I'll redirect him. But so with that said, we have 1 French Bulldog litter and 1 Frenchton litter. We have not confirmed the French Bulldog litter. We're watching for signs and symptoms. We do have an ultrasound that is scheduled for her, and we're hoping to be able to confirm pregnancies sometime mid-July. If the breeding has taken, then these puppies would be due, I think it's like the 8th or 9th of August. I have to, excuse me, my computer's in the house and I have to kind of look on that. But pretty sure she is due she's due technically on a Sunday. But with that said, we're going to try to manage this litter being born without emergency services. But we have to make sure that her puppies are going to be, they've baked enough, in other words. So what we're going to do is we're going to coordinate with the vet to make sure that everything looks hunky-dory for them to be born and happy and healthy. So taking puppies too early can be very devastating. You can lose the whole litter because it's really not from the date of breeding, it's the date of ovulation. So we bred her at 18, which is telling us it was post-whelp. So she may be safe to have a C-section on Friday. If not, then we may have to look at the Saturday. But so what we have to do is really have our plans in place and our ducks in a row. We can't just leave it to chance. With her being a French Bulldog, she's automatically going for a C-section. Any of our new Frenchtons moving forward, if they haven't been a proven whelper, we are automatically going to do C-sections because of the risk has been so great. We don't want to take that risk anymore. We don't want a repeat of what happened with Nugget, where she had gone for such a long time in labor. And this has happened more than once. So this is why we finally said, no, okay, that's it. She had gone so long with pushing, and by the time we were able to get to an emergency vet, it was when my vet was closed. So by the time we got to an emergency vet, she had been in a prolonged labor where it destroyed her uterus and she had to be fixed. It could have been worse. It could have been, we could have lost her. We could have lost more than just one puppy. So yeah, we don't want to take those chances anymore. These dogs are family and family first. And if it was our children and they had a high risk, then so back here you will see sorry, my block. Bella Sky had an anal gland infection. The infection is clearing, and there's no longer any discharge, and she's been on antibiotics, and she's going to continue on to those antibiotics for another week. And with her, we're going to have to make sure that she expresses her glands. If not, we'll have to assist her with that. I've been reading all kinds of information on it. And one of the biggest things is to increase the fiber. So with her, we're going to add, we had stopped giving pumpkin because her poops are really nice and good, but it looks like she really needs that pumpkin for the added fiber to help her go to the bathroom. So with that said, that is resolving and she's doing fantastic. If anybody's interested in adopting Tana, she's up to date on her rabies and her distemper. We did that while she was here. She is fecal clear. And I don't know what other records Libby has, but she is located right now with Libby. And so we are looking for a really good home that would be a good fit for her. So if anybody's interested, please give us a ring. If it's past June of 2026, don't give us a ring. She's probably found her forever home. I could tell you though, with having Tana and Violet here, it's helping Libby was really something that we enjoyed doing, but we have noticed a big difference with having Tana gone. We miss her like crazy, and it's a big void, but we're able to spend more time with our individual dogs. So we still have Violet, and we are going to continue with Violet's pregnancy and all this other stuff because that's how we are. That's how we roll. But But yeah, we and I'll tell you, Violet, those two dogs are such sweet dogs. Violet is a joy to have. She's a wonderful dog. We've had to really give her a lot of one-on-one attention because her pack, which is Tana, is back in Central Maine. So she's just getting extra spoiled rotten with us, and that's the way the dog should be. You know what I mean? So yeah. Sweet puppies. Yeah, so Violet and Tana were never really planned to bring into our program. You know, we took it on this winter to help a fellow breeder, and we're glad we did. But it does put a little damper on us and on our program and stuff like that. So I will be advertising this litter, and I will be selling this litter, and we're both going to be working at that. So you know, it's just a lot of the communication is going to be different. I can't give I may or may not be able to give a definite answer on pricing until she tells me what, you know, what is her, she has the DNA and everything, so she'll be able to tell me what her expectations are for homing these puppies. So, my beautiful girl. And Otto just loves her. Man, you know, with the personalities that these dogs have, I mean, I wish we had the funds to just keep them. Keep them until they're, for the rest of their lives. And it's like, because their personalities are just amazing. And I'm telling you, it tears me apart when these guys leave. But our program is getting to where we want it to be. And less is more, if you get my drift. More one-on-one attention, more loves, less litters. That's what we want to see. For us, this is to heal hearts. It has not been profitable for us. I'm going to be honest with you right now. It has not been profitable for us. You know, we've taken a lot of loss, which is normal for the dog breeding world. You know, we invest in our dogs. They go see the vet regularly, at least once a year, if not 2 or 3 times, depending on what's going on. We try not to skimp on anything in their care. So if you're doing it that way, and you're doing the DNA testing, and you're doing the PG testing, and you're doing all of those things, if you want to go in and make a quick buck, you know, you're going to have to hustle. You're going to have to hustle big time. Then that's my opinion. You know. Dusty buckets. Dusty and his mama. But yeah, her butt. For a while, she was staying away from me because I was the one that was cleaning out her butt. And then either that, I was cleaning her butt, or I was encouraging her to eat a pill by mixing it into something. And she's a smart friggin' dog. She knows exactly what you're doing. She knows. She just knows. All right, we're back, you guys, and I'm a little frustrated because this phone is a douche. Sorry. Plain and simple. It's giving me a hard time. My videos have been short lately because it keeps on saying the storage is limited, but I don't really have anything much on the phone. It's like Mama is watching me with the phone, so I tried to show you her belly, and I'm probably gonna have to take a picture, you know, put it in a community post to show you what her belly is. But right now with the phone, she's like thinking I'm doing something that she's not comfortable with. So I'll just wait till, you know, she's relaxing with me and I'm rubbing her belly, and I can show you, you know, her belly. But they are a little perky. But again, she's had a litter before. She's had some hormonal changes, so that it could be one, she's just going through the hormonal shifts of post heat, or it could be an active pregnancy. So as of tomorrow, she'll be 21 21 days along, sorry, not weeks, but 21 days along. And I have to correct myself. At the beginning of this video, I did say that it, something about whelp. It wasn't whelp. She is 20 days from, 21 days from ovulation. So when it goes to her C-section, it is, her pregnancy starts the day that she ovulates. Now, whether the pregnancy continues on depends if the sperm hits the egg. So with that said, it's not from breeding that it should be counted. It is from ovulation. So with the numbers the way that they are, she ovulated either Saturday or Sunday, because on Monday she was at 18. So what we're going to have to do is pay a real close attention to her the week that she's due. And that's why we're getting the vets involved. We have to get the vets involved. We have to have a plan in place, because these are high-risk dogs that 90% of the time need to be delivered via C-section. Now, in emergency situations here in Maine, if they're not actively pushing, and they have not actively pushed for 4 hours, they will not do a C-section. However, if you go to your vet and your vet determines, due to the breed and due to a high-risk situation, they have more flexibility to provide that service and do a C-section. Now, when it comes to Frenchies, I'll be very surprised if there's a vet that refuses to do a C-section on a Frenchie, due to the risk that's involved. But you never know, okay? This is just my personal opinion. I'm sure there are people out there that have dealt with difficult vets. But if they're vets like what we have that care about dogs, they will know the need for a C-section. So with that said, guys, I'm going to try to get back to doing more frequent videos. We're going to have a lot to talk about in the next 3 weeks with anticipating Pepper's litter. We're also going to walk you through what we do for this young lady here, Violet, to make sure that her litter, if she is pregnant, goes without a problem. Keeping close monitoring, making sure that we have all our supplies and all that other stuff. Is that Daddy? Are you hearing Daddy over there? She's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, guys. If this is the first time tuning in, hi, my name is Angela from North Country Little Pawz, aka Little Pawz, and we breed Frenchies and Frenchtons in northern Maine. We also run a program where once a year we donate a puppy to a person in need. This year we actually donated 2 puppies to 2 very special young people who could definitely benefit from looks like you guys used the potty patch. I'm gonna have to clean it, huh, baby? I don't know why they like to use their, I mean, she's on top of it, so she's not getting dirty, but the pee pad has obviously been used this morning, so I've got to change that. They're so silly. She does know how to use the stairs. All right, I'm rambling on. I know I've been closing this for a while. And so if this is the first time you're tuning in, like, subscribe, and we'll see you around. All righty, bye-bye.